Imagine the scene. Dublin Castle, July of 1907. A grand royal visit was on the horizon, and with it, the need for Ireland's most precious treasures, the crown jewels. Locked securely within the Office of Arms safe, they were meant to be a symbol of regal splendor. But when the time came to unveil them, a chilling discovery sent shockwaves through the nation. The jewels were gone, vanished. And the most baffling part? No sign of forced entry. Only a select few held the keys. A circle of trust that was now shattered by suspicion. Accusations flew, a scandal erupted, and despite intense investigation, the Irish crown jewels were never seen again. They remain a mystery, a phantom treasure lost to history, a potent reminder of how quickly even the most secure of possessions can disappear. Imagine a world where a single bite, a playful nip from a seemingly innocent animal, could condemn a child to a terrifying, agonizing death. This was the grim reality before Louis Pasteur. For centuries, rabies was a relentless predator, its victims left with no hope. But in the face of this ancient terror, Pasteur dared to challenge the impossible. He toiled tirelessly, experimenting with the very essence of the disease, the virus itself. His breakthrough was audacious. A weakened form of the virus, capable of teaching the body to fight its deadly counterpart. And then came the moment of truth. A young boy, Joseph Meister, mauled by a rabid dog, was brought to Pasteur as a last resort. Against all odds, Pasteur administered his experimental vaccine. The world held its breath. Joseph recovered. It was a miracle, a triumph of science over despair, and the dawn of a new era in medicine, forever changing our relationship with one of nature's most fearsome diseases. Imagine a world where every computer, every radio, every piece of technology was the size of a room. That was the reality before a revolutionary idea emerged, an idea that would shrink the impossible down to a speck. In the late 1950s, driven by the relentless demand for smaller, faster electronics, Jack Kilby at Texas Instruments and Robert Noyce at Fairchild Semiconductor, working independently, stumbled upon a breakthrough. They realized that by etching multiple transistors and other components onto a single piece of semiconductor material, they could create an integrated circuit. This wasn't just an improvement, it was a paradigm shift. Suddenly, complex electronic functions could be miniaturized, paving the way for the personal computer, the smartphone, and the interconnected world we inhabit today. The integrated circuit didn't just change electronics, it fundamentally reshaped human civilization. The year is 1991. The world watched in disbelief as Saddam Hussein's Iraq, emboldened by years of war, turned its sights on its tiny neighbor, Kuwait. The invasion was swift, brutal, and a clear violation of international law. But this time, the world would not stand idly by. An unprecedented international coalition, led by the United States, formed with a single, determined purpose: to push Iraq back. What began as Desert Shield, a massive defensive buildup, transformed into Desert Storm, a lightning-fast offensive. For weeks, the skies over Iraq and Kuwait rained down, an overwhelming air campaign that crippled Saddam's war machine. Then, in a stunningly swift ground offensive lasting just 100 hours, the coalition forces unleashed a decisive victory, liberating Kuwait and ushering in a new and terrifying era of modern warfare. Imagine a city on the brink, its very survival hanging in the balance. In the heart of this turbulent era, an audacious vision was born. Emperor Justinian, facing rebellion and the ashes of his capital, commissioned not just a church, but a monument to God and an enduring symbol of imperial power. In a mere 5 years, an astonishing feat of engineering and faith rose from the ground. Thousands of laborers toiled, Architects Anthemius of Tralles and Isidore of Miletus pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible, creating a dome that seemed to float, a celestial canopy, suspended by unseen forces. This wasn't just a building. It was a statement, a defiant beacon of resilience that would shape the course of architecture and faith for centuries to come. Imagine a world where information was locked away, accessible only to a select few. Then, in the late 1980s, at the very heart of CERN, a revolutionary idea began to take shape. A British physicist, Tim Berners-Lee, envisioned a way to connect people and documents across vast distances, not with clunky databases, but with something utterly new, a web. He proposed a system of linked pages, navigated by clicking on words. It was a concept so simple yet so profound that it initially met with skepticism. But Berners-Lee persisted, and in 1991, the World Wide Web was born. This wasn't just a technological leap. It was the spark that ignited the information age, forever changing how we communicate, learn, and interact with the world. It's 1982, and a chilling wave of terror washes over the Chicago suburbs. 7 unsuspecting lives are extinguished, not by violence, but by a silent, invisible killer hidden within a common household remedy. In a horrifying twist, ordinary Tylenol capsules, the medicine trusted by millions, were found to be laced with deadly cyanide. Panic, swift and absolute, gripped the nation. Suddenly, the safety of everyday products was thrown into question. This unprecedented crisis forced a dramatic, immediate response, a nationwide recall of an entire class of medication. But from this darkness, a crucial innovation emerged. The Tylenol Murders, a crime that remains unsolved to this day, forever altered the landscape of consumer safety, giving birth to the tamper-proof packaging we now take for granted, a constant reminder of the day trust was broken and then painstakingly rebuilt. Imagine a world shrouded in darkness, where the very nature of light and vision was a profound mystery. Then, in the 11th century, a scholar named Ibn al-Haytham, known to the West as Alhazen, dared to challenge the ancient wisdom. He didn't just believe eyes emitted rays. He conducted revolutionary experiments, shattering centuries of dogma. He proved, with undeniable logic and meticulous observation, that light actually enters the eye from the object being viewed. This wasn't just a theory. It was a seismic shift in understanding, laying the groundwork for the scientific method itself. Alhazen's work on optics, particularly his groundbreaking treatise Kitab al-Manazir, fundamentally changed how we perceive the world, paving the way for everything from eyeglasses to the camera,